Look at you with your Tolkien books on the side. How educated are you?
And my Hobbit Monopoly.
I need myself. I need to get one of those.
Okay, so we're caught up on all the gossip. I think we should start. This is actors talk about themselves. And I'm so excited. And the reason, we've been gas baking for about 5 or 6 minutes is because I haven't seen Adam Brown for bloody ages. Mate, it's been so long. Thanks for welcome on the show. I love saying that. Welcome to my office, my little humbly seat. It's like there's my little voice booth over there. See, my little voice booth, and my my favourite chair in the whole world, my green and blue chair, which I think is amazing. And there's our backyard. You can see all the sun's about to rise. I've just had my cup of tea. I woke up nice and early to catch you, and it must be almost beer o'clock at your house. Yay!
You are kind of like the Graham Norton chat show of the internet.
Wow. I'll take that every day. That's going to be in the promo.
And this is your, studio.
Yeah. We need I've got a green chair. I haven't got a red chair. I've got a green and blue chair. But...
I mean, you do the chair where you fall off.
Yeah.
And you go.
I'll just randomly fall off the chair and I'll just do it all myself. A lot of what we talk about in this show is pretty much what it's like just to be an actor, really, in this day and age, because things change so much. Tell us about the phone call about when you got the job, because that's just the most brilliant story.
My God, I tell this story like it's a little soundbite now, but it was like it. I got a phone call from my agent, because I was in a comedy double act, and I had been for 10 years. We'd done Edinburgh Festival, we'd done, we toured New Zealand, we toured around the world.
Blessed and Brown.
Kind of what I was. Blessed and Brown, yeah, where I was a double act. And then that's kind of where I thought my life was going, really. And then I got a phone call saying, I've got an audition for The Hobbit for you. To which point I was like, okay, which venues is it going to? I'm not really sure if I've got time to fit it in our schedule. And they're like, no, it's The Hobbit. Can you go along? And this was when Martin was tied up with Sherlock, and the BBC were being really funny about releasing him. So I went for bloody Bilbo Baggins. I think every kind of actor under 5'7" in London was auditioning for Bilbo, because they were like, fuck, we haven't got Martin, so let's try and find the next best Martin Freeman. And I went along, and it was my first movie audition, and I had a good time, I enjoyed it, and then I left and didn't think anything more. And then I got a phone call from my agent saying, they've been on the phone, they really like you, but you're not right for Bilbo. They're going to keep you in mind for a dwarf. So I was like, okay, very nice. Had no idea what that meant. I was like, does that mean like third villager from the left? I don't know what that means.
Fourth.
And then I think 8 weeks later, I got a phone call saying that was it. Can you pack up your bags and fly to New Zealand in 2 months to start shooting?
Wow.
And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, because all I heard was that your audition, apparently, because you auditioned for Bilbo, but apparently they had to check, like Pete and Fran and Phil had to check, that you weren't taking the piss, and this is actually you, because it was so out there. It was such an amazing interpretation of Bilbo. They just had to make sure, like, is this guy the real deal, or is he just completely taking the piss? And they go, no, this is him. And they go, oh man, we've got to have this guy somewhere.
Well, I think I should learn that kind of gem now. Really, it's not even when you go to auditions now. I've get in that habit of doing what they want, I must audition and do Bilbo. I must, but you can only do, I think, what your strengths are, and of course, all actors can, manipulate that and do different things, but you have to bring you to it, really, and there's a part of you. So I'm going to try and remember that next time I go for a bloody audition, just to stop trying to be someone else and just do it my way, you know?
Yeah.
And then so I kind of didn't really believe it until I got there. I'm going, what if they've chosen the wrong person? Or I get there and it's like, no, it wasn't this Adam Brown we wanted. It was the other one.
Well, because how many Adam Browns are there on like IMDb? There's like so many.
I'm Adam Brown, like 200 and something, I think.
I'm Stephen Hunter, like 2, but there's like, I don't know how many Stephen Hunters, but I remember when the news first broke, I had a message because I was out celebrating when we could finally tell everybody. And I had a message from my mum saying, could you get them to please change your photo on the internet? Like, she just thought I could get the internet to change my photo. She goes, you're not that old man. And I was like, what is she?
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was like, what's she talking about? I'm not that old man. And it was the guy from the 61-year-old, the writer, Stephen Hunter.
Ah.
But do you remember having that conversation when we were sitting in Bag End on that first week? Was it the first day? And we were both in the same boat. We were looking at each other going, when are they going to tap us on the shoulder?
And say, enough's enough now, the game's over.
Yeah, we thought we'd give you a few days just because we felt bad that we selected the wrong person.
God. I don't think I ever stopped thinking that. Never stopped thinking, I could go. Yeah. Not that, yeah. I was kind of grateful all the way through, really. Never came complacent, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, especially because wasn't it a weird feeling like, and what did it feel like? Because doing so much stage stuff, getting into the movie stuff. I mean, when you got on there, you know, how were you feeling like about, you know, doing a movie, like just from a confidence level and from, you know, your own point of view?
Shitting myself, like on the verge of just crapping myself all the time.
Yeah.
But I remember they were amazing, actually. And Pete, I think they knew that it was new to me, the whole camera, and they set up a whole day where I went actually with Victoria. Do you remember Victoria? Lovely Victoria. Went round with her, and she literally went, so let's start at the basics. Adam, this is a camera. And I'm like, and then I just kind of got to know, and just I was with all the cameramen and just chatting and kind of getting used to it. And then I remember my first day being called to Bag End. Pete literally said, hello, this is Adam's first time. We're going to take it really nice and slowly for you today, Adam. So if you can just go and stand there. And so, yeah, they did it. They were amazing.
See, what would have been funny if they had to put you in completely the wrong room? That would have been quite a funny New Zealand gag.
Yeah. This is a camera, and it actually was like, I don't know.
But
something.
But it was weird seeing these guys that, you know, you'd grown up with and you'd seen, but then you started to become friends with them, and then you got to see they were normal people, but they were still that person.
Yeah.
I can never quite get my head around that. I mean, like, you know, Martin Freeman. It was like, you know, he's Martin. We know him as Martin. And Ian, we know as an Ian because they were both, you know, so awesome to be around. But they were still Martin Freeman, and especially Ian McKellen. It's like, yeah, but he's still Sir Ian McKellen.
Hey, that was the one that blew my head. I was like, bloody hell, just being in the same room as her. She's incredible.
Yeah. Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of drooling going on in the lunch.
Yeah, you said that really slowly, like I said the wrong name. I was like, oh shit, it is Kate Blanchett in the movie.
Glamdring.
Don't know. Oh my god, I never lived to regret that. Oh,
I was watching that interview the other day. For those who haven't seen it, I think I've got it on my playlist on my YouTube channel. But they asked us all these questions in London. That was at Claridge's in London. And it was like, what was the name of, was it whose sword? Gandalf's sword.
Sword.
Yeah. What was the name of Gandalf's sword? And you said
Gladriel.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
It was always going to trick you up, because when you had Jed on set, like, you could ask him anything about Middle Earth and he'd be like, bang, 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 bang. So, I just turned to Jed, but when he wasn't there, you were like, rabbit caught in the headlights going, oh shit, I hope I'm saying this right.
Yeah.
That was a pretty massive one to make a mistake on.
So how long did you do comedy stuff for? Like, because you're doing the Blessed and Brown stuff. I mean, were you doing comedy like really early? I mean, I just used to, like to be a show off and be the centre of attention since I was a small child. So my path has been very clear. Where did it sort of start off for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always like school, I guess. I got into a little drama group very early on, and kind of like, I found my people. They are fun. They're nice. Had a laugh. It wasn't full of that bullshit you have at school. And I kind of fell into it that way and got really excited by it. Then, of course, I went through my angry phase as a teenager, and all I wanted to do was, like, as if I was listening to bloody Tori Amos, or really, which I do love, Tori Amos, lots of angry young women music, and also trying to make very political, physical theatre. And then I got to university, and I met Claire Plested, and she kind of saw that I was being a right twat with my kind of worthy theatre, and were like, you're really funny, we should make some comedy together. And yeah, so I soon dropped the kind of fabric waving physical theatre and started just having a laugh with Claire, and we made ourselves laugh, and we used to go to the theatre together, and we're like, God, if these arseholes can do it, so can we. So we just did our own thing, and we made each other laugh, and it carried on from there. And I worked with Claire for 10 years. Yeah, we started at uni, and we entered a really big deal thing over here called the National Student Drama Festival, and it kind of rolled from there. We were picked, I think you had 10 shows, and it's like, oh my God, it's cutthroat. They really rip into you. All these students really rip into your show after seeing it. But luckily they loved us. Yeah, we did a very silly show. It was based on, in the 90s, house programs were huge. People making over houses, and
They still do it here. They're still like just spitting them out over here.
Yeah, it's gone more into food now. Everyone's cooking. Like how many programs about cooking? Although British Bake Off is amazing still. So we just turned that upside on its head and thought, what if this team came in and destroyed this couple's life by turning their living room into a garden, and we put soil on the ground, and it was just this really anarchy couple just left. They said goodbye to them and they sat back on the sofa, and they were just basically in a jungle watching the telly, going, "Oh, but what?" And they had to wear wellies in their living room. So yeah, we just had fun from there, and from there it just went on. And I think we wrote 7 shows together, and we were funded by the Arts Council, and we toured. Yeah, we toured around the world and a lot in the UK. And did the Edinburgh Festival, probably 7 times.
Wow. So is there a desire to go back and do that again, that type of thing, or like solo shows, or just getting with a group of people again?
I don't know about solo shows. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do a solo show. I mean, you've got to be funny or entertaining, or for like over an hour. That's a long time.
Or drunk.
Or drunk. I could do that. Actually, I'll tell you what, that's an Edinburgh sellout. Yeah. But yeah, of course, comedy. I think, it's something that I like doing, and I enjoy it. So I think, I do a lot more of that. I would love to do a lot more comedy. I think naturally any role that I do, I bring a comedy twist to it anyway. The thought of um, playing a hard ass is kind of funny, isn't it? So
Yeah, I've had a couple of roles lately that have been sort of a bit dramatic, but I remember, doing shows on, like soaps and that in New Zealand or, here, and there's always like a comic edge to it because that's just like you say that's sort of what I'm about.
yeah.
I've read an episode of a show that you've written, which is, by the way, extremely funny. I really hope you get that up.
We met, didn't we? I think we were at a convention one time, and I said, "I'll send it to you." And you say, "I think I got an email from you, mate. I've read it on the plane, and I've just finished it on the toilet."
Yeah,
and it's fucking fun.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
I emailed you from the toilet because as everybody knows, that's the best place to read anything.
That's the best compliment I had, I think.
Now I know, like, I've got so many comic ideas and I've filmed some, but I mean the majority of the stuff that I've written is sitting on a file in my Dropbox, neatly filed away in all these categories. I've just put it all there, but it's just. Do you find the same thing? I mean, is that like, as a performer, I guess we're all writers in some way. Do you find that block? I mean, how do you deal with that?
The block. Well, I've got like a notepad that I kind of keep, and all my notes in my phone constantly, and I only have to be sat with my mum watching the telly when she comes out of a cork, and I'm like, right, I've got to write that down. That's hysterical. So yeah, I've constantly kind of fill that up, and then I go back and look over it. That's the hard thing, I think, being proactive with it and keeping it going, especially if you are auditioning and you get jobs that come up. And when I did Pirates, I was really into writing that, and then it kind of dropped because I was out there, and then it does take a while to get back into it. But yeah, I think it's just motivation, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Pirates thing, that's coming up. When's that at? I see there was a teaser. You're in Pirates of the Caribbean. That must have been a different experience.
It was, yeah. It was different, but the same.
Yeah.
Because a lot grew, which was great, because it was filmed in the Gold Coast, where I saw you.
Yeah.
Came to see you. Yeah, that was great. That's actually coming out in May. Yeah. I play one of Jack Sparrow's new pirate recruits.
Wow.
So very exciting.
Exciting, and it must have been weird, like, because after being in one massive production, then going on to another production, but
Yeah.
And you said there were like a lot of the similar crew, because I think it wasn't Carla, the girl who did my makeup for Bomber, she was on it, wasn't she?
She did my makeup.
Yeah, that's weird.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Yeah, it was nice just bumping into people again and seeing everyone. And it's so nice to be on that kind of production again, but coming to it with a lot of knowledge, I guess, from our 2.5 in New Zealand. So yeah, very, very similar, but very, very different, completely different experience.
Yeah, because I think I'm completely at ease with the fact that nothing is going to be the same as that 2 years in New Zealand doing The Hobbit. Like, nothing's going to come close to it, and that's fine, because there's going to be different things. And like, I've had roles now that have been a lot bigger in a way. I mean, I've just got an episode of a comedy coming out, and it's like I'm featured in that episode. I did a series with 4 eps of a drama, and like, I got to act a lot more, but nothing's ever going to be the same and as big and as like life-changing as that. But it's like, it's okay. I can remember, like, how many days or hours could we count that we just spent just like being complete children in that trailer park?
Oh, hours, yeah, hours. You're right. I think the experience of The Hobbit will whether you land another amazing trilogy or you're in the next other franchise, I don't think that experience will ever come close, no matter what it is, to the experience of being in Wellington with that group of people, those crew, those creative people, and you at that time, personally, I guess, going, I was wide-eyed to it, and I don't ever want to forget that, I don't think, because it was just so wonderful in that respect. Just that moment, I don't think can ever be repeated.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing, and I remember when we finished the last lot of pickups, we were all at the Roxy Theatre, waiting for them to do their martini shot to go in to have the little wrap up, and I think I was just it was such a, I don't know, it was kind of a weird ending, and everyone was there, some people were outside, and then I was dancing and getting into it, and then I was like, oh, a few of the boys might have gone. And then it was the end, and I sort of caught a ride with Dean. I don't know if I said goodbye to most of the guys, and then I packed up and I was on a plane. I was gone because I wanted to go back and see my family, but it was just like it felt like such an abrupt end. And I don't know about you, but it took me a good couple of years to really come back to normality after that. It was such a bizarre thing.
Yeah. That evening was. I think I was with Dean. I think we got a cab. I think we got a cab, we got a cab into Wellington, and it kind of all dispersed. It was like, it's happening already. People are kind of going, and I was just like, this wasn't actually our last night. We've had so many last night parties. It's been going on and on and on. But yeah, oh my God, we had a laugh.
Oh,
we're nice.
Can you? What are the things you remember? Like, I mean, there was so many funny things. I mean, I remember just watching Martin on set just all the time. He used to wind us up a treat. Like, I've invited Mark Hadlow to do this interview, but I think after seeing the last couple, he might not want to come on it because he's even now with these interviews, he's been the fall guy. He's been the patsy for everybody, mainly McTavish. Remember some of the dinners we had on location. And we had that huge house when we did the Troll Caves.
Because I lived with Aidan, Dean, Jimmy. It was three of us, and our house is called the Playboy Mansion.
That's right. Yeah, and I was in basically in the help's cottage. I was and I used to trot up and do the cooking.
I think rumours got round that like literally a TV was chucked out the window, and I was on set going, seriously, no, we haven't chucked a TV. We've had a cup of tea and gone to bed.
Oh, I remember that. Everyone says, oh yeah, I heard you trash it. Well, no, I mean, I think someone may have accidentally left a couple of chairs outside.
Well, I think it's quite disappointing. It could have been a lot more raucous.
What was the hardest day you reckon on that?
Do you know what? Someone asked me this the other day, and seeing the 88 wasn't hard. It was just long, wasn't it? And lots of running. I think one of the hardest was probably the Goblin Cave. It was so hot with those big fire things.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the
that was pretty? I think I physically overheated on that day. I remember just being in tears. That was pretty hard. And I think I think the best day, like in contrast to that, probably the best day was that day on the barrels. Remember we went down and
singularly the best day of my life, without a doubt.
Yeah. So what's next?
So I've got Pirates coming out next year. I did a horror movie called, I did like a thriller horror called The Limehouse Golem. Sadly, it was going to be Alan Rickman's last movie, but he's very, very ill, and obviously, and it's now Bill Nighy who's taken over his role. So yeah, it's I've got a nice little character in that, and that comes out next year as well.
So you shot that?
Shot that already, yeah. Shot that. Yep. Back in the prosthetics.
Oh, really?
One day, but I got to keep quiet. Can't say what happens.
No.
So that's next year.
Yeah.
And just back on the acting trail, really.
Yeah, and you did a game too, like a video game.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's called The Bunker, and I did it with lovely Sarah Green,
Oh, awesome.
which was very odd at one point because Sarah plays my mum.
Oh. Well,
She's younger than me.
from what I remember, Sarah, she's a very, she's gorgeous, and she doesn't look.
Stunning.
Yes.
And yeah, she has spawned a beauty.
Well, obviously, lucky her.
She is, yeah. So she went through a bit of makeup, obviously, to be convincing as my mum. Yeah, but that was so much fun working with her. She's amazing. Yeah, and it's like a live action computer game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a live action movie. So I guess I'm basically the player, so you can decide if I go left or I go right. And if I open one drawer, I mean, it's a really interesting way of filming because you have to film so many bloody options because the player could do. So, for example, if there is a drawer in shot, I would have to open every drawer, even if nothing was in them. So it was so time consuming. And we filmed that in an old nuclear bunker, is in Essex. And that was freezing and I didn't see the light of day. But yeah, that was good. That was really good. And I think that's out now. So yeah, I think it's doing really well.
Yeah, I saw something on your Facebook page. Is there a lot of gaming stuff like going on in the UK? Because I know in the States, in LA, it's like the gaming industry is almost bigger than the movie industry in some ways. There's a lot of work there.
No, I think there is. Yeah, I think there is enough work here for it. I'm still new to it, but yeah, I know they do cast a lot of, especially voiceovers and mocap stuff. Yeah.
Any designs on following McTavish into the mocap suits for games?
Yeah, I can see myself in Lycra. I'll be doing a physical theatre dance in Lycra.
Yeah. I always ask everyone this question. Any thoughts for young actors? Because, a lot of people watch and they're trying to get a start. Trying to get a start in the industry or, trying to figure out where to go, We've had our good little jump with The Hobbit. What's your ideas on that?
What pearls of advice?
Yes.
Pearls of wisdom?
Pearls of wisdom from Adam Brown.
God, do you know what? This is really... I'm going to tell you a true story. I gave a talk at my school and somebody asked this
Yeah.
question, and I said in front of the kids, but also like the mayor of the town, all of like the PTA staff, like, and all the local press, saying, "What are your pearls of advice?" And I said, "It's just simple. Don't fuck up." To which point, all the kids whooped and thought it was the best thing they've ever heard in terms of. And then I felt like an idiot because I was like the guy at school that swears and thinks he's really cool. Like, hey, I'm down with the kids, and it was like, oh, awful. And I had to apologise to the mayor and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What have I done? It's quite notorious in my town, so I'm not really sure I should give any words of advice.
That should definitely go into your show.
Well, apparently, like the year after, they had Bear Grylls doing it because he's from my town as well.
Right.
And apparently he wasn't very interesting, and they preferred swearing.
Fantastic. Well, that's
although I swore, I think I think it went down better than Bear Grylls. So yeah.
You should get a T-shirt. Better than Bear Grylls.
I don't know if I should say. Yeah. Well, there's that one. There's that, and I guess just keep going, keep doing it. for me, it was always make my own stuff, and just be proactive and make sure you're constantly doing. I think I've watched a few of you, being a connoisseur, and watched a few of your things, and you say it all the time. It's like, in fact, I kind of wish I had this opportunity, these things here, like my phone, all those things now. Back then, like, what would I have done with them? For me, it was always about getting people together and creating shows. But what if I could do it on my own or with a friend like this? What will there's so many options now. So many options.
Yeah, well, it's an exciting time. I mean, like, podcasts are going nuts. I see Jermaine has got a show. It's called something like Uncle Bertie's Botanarium or something like that, and he's got this show that he's written. And I just thought, I can do this at home because I'm an audio engineer as well, and so that's something that I can just do. You don't have to spend money to film it. There's things like Patreon. There's all these Kickstarter sort of things, and people are prepared to put money into stuff to see something in return, like immediately. And people will pay $1 or $2 for a podcast, or I think that's where it's heading. Rather than you have to come up with an idea for a show and then pitch it to a network. I mean, you can just get stuff out there.
I think that's almost becoming. I think that soon it will be almost redundant. That form of pitching ideas, and it will almost be a way of saying, get your product online, and that is a way of getting your audience that way. I know. I think that is probably the route that things will change even more than pitching. I mean, of course, the big networks are always very exciting, but I think also just making and kind of creating your own stuff and seeing what flourishes from there. And I've seen friends that it's happened to as well, and I'm like, it's that. I think that's really exciting. So yeah, I think the advice would be just keep at it and keep doing it.
Awesome.
And don't.
Yeah, and don't fuck up. Cool, man.
I apologise to the mayor. Oh my God.
Awesome. Adam Brown. Thanks.
Is that it?
Thanks for talking to me. So Bilbo and Gandalf are like basically the Mayfair and Park Lane, but the Master of Laketown and Azog the Defiler's got a star on his face. I'm like in here. I'm like Fleet Street with Thorin Oakenshield and Beorn.
I'm not on it.
I think you are. Oh no, you're here. You're on those dodgy purple ones. But the one that made me laugh is Dwalin is Old Kent Road.
Hashtag Old Kent Dwalin.
Old Kent Graham.
Yeah, nah, sweet.